Okay, so if they're like let's 30 and 20-ish, 10 games over five, that's a very good record right around the trade deadline. Like, is that increasing their motivation to do something like, okay, wow, like Steph's still this guy, Draymond's still this guy, our window's still wide open, or does that decrease their motivation to like, hey, we're 7, 8, 9, 10 games over 500, like maybe this is good, maybe we're good enough.
Yeah, I mean, Steph would just tell you that like just all he wants is a conversations with Mike Dunleavy at
Hmm.
key moments of the offseason and trade deadline, all that. Let me know the options. Let me know what you're thinking. He will discuss if he likes guys, if he doesn't. Steph has opinions. He'll never voice them, but there are people in the league he thinks are good that would fit what he does and people who don't. And I think they want to strike. I think for the right price that, he wants probably, kind of a beefed up version of this depth around him. But again, not what I don't expect is them to be 33 and 20 and then like they're just like, oh, we just do Zach LaVine. Like we've just got to get it done.
Right.
It's to me that's like, are we talking about like who besides Giannis? Like, Jimmy Butler's a guy obviously you're around. Like they've bounced the idea around, but I think at this point, I think how they're playing, how everything seems to be looking, like to me, Jimmy Butler's the more desperation play if they're 24 and 27 and the young guys aren't looking that good and Steph's just like, hey, like we got to shake this up. Like we just got to try something. Let's just attempt Jimmy Butler. I don't think they do something like that for the older guy that wants the extension if things are going well. I think they only do that if it's like, look, Giannis is available. Like we can get him, like the younger superstar.
I'm just going to throw my favorite little random bit of news that came out over the last few months and kind of going into the season was that the Warriors loved Bronny, but wanted to make sure that Bronny ended up in Los Angeles. I don't remember who exactly reported that, but that was just something that made the rounds a little bit. And that to me was knowing the front office, obviously not as well as you do, but the little bit that I know from covering the team for a couple of years, like I'm like, yeah, that seems like a Warriors front office thing to just leak out there.
They kind of rolled their eyes a little bit at that one, I will say.
Okay.
I mean, they had the 52nd pick. They got Quentin Post on a two-way. Like they were like, yeah, no, like he was definitely higher on the board.
This idea of leaving Bronny there for the Lakers, though, to do a solid for LeBron, is that? I mean, there was that report also before the deadline last year that they made a call to Los Angeles. Like, hey, you guys interested in moving LeBron?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
is this all?
there's so many cooks in the kitchen with the
Yes.
Warriors and opinions and like, obviously like allegiances.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. I don't believe that they think that them like not taking Bronny James 52nd overall is going to lead them to LeBron James. They definitely made, we're just kind of like, it was almost like the fantasy football trade where you just like hit up the person who has, CeeDee Lamb or whatever, name your like superstar. And you're like, yeah, like, would you trade him? And they're like, no. I was like, all right, well, I'd love Bijan Robinson at like, a cheap price. I don't see it. And no, the Bronny James thing, no. Unless look, if LeBron wants to force his way there, Draymond's ready to like, maneuver, get in the captain's seat, this and that. But yeah, no, that has never been on the goal line about to happen.